Now these fellas here are called Oscars, and they would be one of the most popular species of tropical fish. And the question I've been asked is, what fish go with Oscars? Now the first thing to know about Oscars, Oscars grow very, very quickly. So you really want them in a nice big tank. So therefore, any fish that you put with them needs to accommodate the fact that these things grow super fast. For example, silver sharks and silver dollars are very good fish to go with Oscars, but the Oscars are going to outgrow them. So if you have larger silver sharks and silver dollars, the Oscars would be quite good. But you don't want to make sure that these guys are small when the Oscars are big. Now these are too small. All your tiger barbs are going to be too small. All your live bearers are going to be too small. They're all going to end up Oscar food. Oscar food, Oscar food, Oscar food. Now, this fella here, the Plecostomus, probably the best fish you'll ever put with Oscars. The Guamis are going to be too small. Now, the red tail and rainbow sharks, if they're very large, are an option, but generally not large enough. So you're usually going to end up Oscar food. The black shark, on the other hand, is a much larger species of shark and is an option. Now these are larger Guamis. If the Guamis were very large and the Oscars were small, that would be okay. But the Oscars will grow far too fast and are probably going to be a problem. All your tetras are Oscar food. Clown loach are very good with Oscars, assuming that the clown loach are nice and big. All your tetras tend to be Oscar food. Severums, assuming they're big enough, can be quite good. In the back we've got some Synodontis catfish. They're very good. Now tinfoil barbs would be one of the best fish you could put with Oscars. Now the angels often get bashed. The scissor tails, if they were very large, might be an option, but may end up food. Any of your barbs tend to be too small for Oscars. Goldfish, no go. Sucking catfish, if they're very large, may be an option. Once again, red tail shark, if very large, may be an option. Plecostomus is excellent. So an Oscar is not really a very aggressive fish, but very gluttonous. For example, this fella here, the Feste Red Terror, is likely to bash an Oscar. Now, firemouth and lion heads are an option if they're very large. Chocolate cichlid would be quite good, and acaras would be an option as long as they were very large. A dovii is a very bad idea. It's going to whip the Oscar's ass. A Jack Dempsey is an option, and a Cuban is an option, depending on temperament and size. Green Terror is definitely an option. Just watch them getting along. Now, your Geophagus are an option, but they're quite gentle. So if it's an aggressive Oscar, it might attack it. All of the these sorts of cichlids like splurums, they are an option as long as they're big enough. Once again, Gaii are an option if they're big enough. Steindachnieri is an option if it's big enough. Duopari and most other Geophagus are an option if they're big enough. Now, Splendida would normally be fairly good. Tinfoils would be one of the best. Any of these larger American cichlids are an option, but watch their temperament because they can get too aggressive for the Oscars. Now, African cichlids mix with Oscars fairly often. A lot of people will complain the pH isn't right and stuff, but as long as you keep them alkaline, you'll find that they're totally fine. But once again, it would be a matter of making sure that the fish are large enough, because the Oscar will try to eat them when they're small, and then when they're bigger, chances are they're fine. The other thing about these sorts of fish is the more of them you have, the better they tend to get along. No. Koi, I've seen work surprisingly well, believe it or not. Bristlenose, probably too small. Moray eel is an option. All your larger cichlids, pending pH, is an option. And these fellas are probably going to bash them. Uaru are an option. So, discus are not an option. Corridors, not such a great option. Once again, with the Oscars, they have a lot of personality. They absolutely love to eat. They have a very big mouth, but they're sort of like big pussycats. So try not to put anything too psycho with them, like a red devil or anything. Try not to put anything too small that'll fit in their mouth or they'll eat it. Anyway, if you can put a little note on the bottom of this video and tell me what have you mixed with Oscars that have worked really well, or what have you mixed with Oscars that has absolutely not worked. And once again, there's no such thing as actually work or actually not work. For example, I used to have an old lady customer that had an Oscar with a whole school of neon tetras. Just goes to show that fish do as fish do, not necessarily what you think they're going to.